Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to If You Don't Know, Now You Know. My name is Mr. Heka. Thank you very much for joining me. My brother, Lino, how are you?
We're back, bro.
How are you, bro?
Yeah, I'm good.
This is Lino, Hola, everyone. He's, men's medicine. He's also my business partner. He's been my housemate as well, and just a dear friend of mine. We've had a few podcasts before, but Lino, bro, we'll just kick it off. I love to start my podcast with a bit of gratitude, baby. How are you today? What's 3 things you're grateful for?
I'm really grateful for my family. And, this relationship that we have, I've been really grateful over the last couple of months, especially, for the relationship that we have. And really grateful, for the community that we have. For the community we have and the work that we do. It's extremely fulfilling, and grateful for you because and thank you for your post that you put up yesterday, because talking about how we've been battle tested, that we've overcome a lot of challenges and tests, and I'm like, yeah, we have.
Yeah, we have.
And the face of men's medicine, the medicine's still the same, but the face is very, very different to what it was from the start. So we've evolved so much, and I'm really grateful for that journey.
Yeah, definitely, Brian. I'm just speaking to that as well. Like, we've grown and evolved so much in the past, this year just alone as well. And like you said, like, we've definitely been battle tested this year, throwing every sideball, curveball that it could possibly throw at us. And look, we're at the back end of the year, and it's been it's like we're really starting to find our feet in the right ways as well. Like, there's been times where we've been, picking up, and then it's like, okay, we made some mistakes and we're dropping off. But like now I feel like we're laying down some real solid foundations, and things are looking up for us in a lot of areas. And like you said, man, we're battle tested. So big thanks as well. And,
I feel like, if I've said this before, it feels like we're in a startup and that we're just starting again. And I'm like, how is it that you could feel like you're just starting again, or you're just starting after 18 months in?
Yeah.
And I guess that's because we're evolving.
Yeah, we definitely are. We've evolved so much in the past. Oh man, it's forever evolving. So.
I feel like it evolves week to week.
Yeah, definitely. And big kudos to yourself, bro, because I know there's been so many changes.
Like, so
Leno's not like, he's one of those guys. He's not so equipped to change as what I am. I feel like I can change. I'm quite open to change a lot more.
What I kind of feel is I'm very emotionally attuned.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to hide that fact. It is what it is. That is how I'm built. So I'm emotionally motivated, influenced, attached to pretty much everything.
Yeah.
To pretty much everything. And it's just the way that I operate. And you're so systemized. And it's kind of like when I said something to you yesterday, that analogy was about, bro, you keep being the fullback and you keep on seeing what needs to be done, coordinating. And then when you said, yeah, bro, you just keep hitting it up. And I was like, yes, I will keep on hitting it up, because that's how I choose to move. I'll just keep going. But without the insight that you've been able to have from the outside, that's pretty much the way we would be going. I would just be, that's how I operate. I'll keep showing up. I'll keep working. I'll keep hitting it up. The problem about that is you end up operating as if you've got blinders on.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's where we learned some lessons.
Yeah. So I say a lot of things now, and I'm like, he's going to really just stick it to me when I say this. And I'm like, because you were saying it a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
We were talking about workshops, and you're like,
yeah.
You're looking at me, and I'm like, yeah, I know, bro. I might be a little bit late to the party. But more than anything, I think it's really important to be open to change, open to growth. And that I always am. I always am. I might be a little bit to adjust, but as you know, I'm always willing to push myself, to stretch myself, to grow.
Oh, yeah. I always knew that as well. And, yeah, I'll speak into that as well. And you're right. And I have my tendencies as well, where I'm not as emotionally attached as I'm like not emotionally attached. So it's that balance is good, because you are, and I'm very far on the other end, as I'm just like, see ya.
Yeah.
Catch it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not emotionally attached to things quite easily. It does take a long time for me.
Because it would be a disaster if it was both of us the same.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And it's
especially because of the line of work that we're in, it's very much energy work. You know, like we're talking about people's lives here, helping impact people's lives, change their lives. That's the nature of our work. If someone wasn't emotionally attuned, we'd be like robots.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, but if we were both really deeply emotionally into it, I think we'd really struggle to move forward.
The balance that we've got, and we've really started to find our feet with our balance and the working in our playing in our strengths and stuff. It's not like we're not just butting heads now. We've like turned and we're heading in the same direction.
Yep.
In playing in our strengths, which is good.
Yeah.
Which is good. It took a little while. We had to have some hard conversations, that's for sure.
And it's kind of like
There's a few frustrated days. I was like, come on, bruh.
yeah, sometimes I've got to be worn down. You know, like especially out to all of those parents out there that have kids. They know that when your kids are when they're frustrating you, doing your head in, you know, or they're being hyperactive, you know, it's only a matter of time before that energy stops. And they get weighed down and they calm down and you can work with them a bit better. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Well, you had to wear him down. I did though. I hung in there. I was like, he did test me because I'm like pretty resilient and resistant in a lot of ways. Like I hang in there on most things, and I was just like, there's a few days I was like, come on, bro. I was like, fucking, let's go.
You know what I said to my wife? I'm gonna be just straight out. Am I cool to swear?
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I fucking love Heka. Hey, you know why? He's the most loyal motherfucker I know. He's the most loyal motherfucker I know. And in this world, people come and go. And when we really talk about people that have your back, we're talking about like everything, right? And there's lots of people that, yeah, I'll be there. But they'll be there on things that they choose to be there, you know. But we're talking about like the nature of our work is about growing in life.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, but that's what our business is. So it's sort of like self-development, personal growth, as well as it's business. So it's growing through life, all of it. You know, in one, we, as you said at the start of the year, play in all the lanes. So to be able to share that with someone, because we talk to people all the time, and when things get tough, they're gone.
Oh, 100%.
You know?
It's like just,
especially people that aren't in the work.
Yeah.
This you know, personal growth work. And then sometimes where, you know, because we still like to go to the gym. Yeah. We still like to follow structure. All of the way, there's many parts of our lives that existed before. We haven't scratched them.
Hell no.
We haven't cut them out. So look, really marrying all areas of life together, to be able to share life with someone that does the same, like, I think that's the direction that the world should be moving and is starting to move. It's not easy, but that's the life that we live. So
we're really embodying what we're teaching too.
Yep.
It's like you got to be your own standard. Like set the standard. That's exactly something I've been leaning into this year as well. It's like, you know, if I'm going to be out there, you know, teaching and helping men, I'm like, just set the example, man. It's just like that's a thing. A lot of people say a lot of things, but they don't do it.
And I guess, you know, we're about to move in that direction for this conversation. Is massive kudos to you. Props to you for how many days no alcohol?
Like 320 days now.
320 days. That's, yeah.
Come a long way from Mr. Heka. That was a few years back.
And how many days no coffee?
No coffee. It's I'll be like 70 or 80. I think it's like 80 or something. It's been pretty good.
And I find, you know, it's not a surprise that there's always a lot of attention that sort of comes our way. But I'm married and you're not. And, you know, I'm massive about relationships, and just that what I feel that you're doing yourself is that you're really tidying up all areas of your life and not willing to resort to old behaviors, past behaviors, ineffective behaviors, things that don't serve you, so you're not embarking into a relationship just for the purposes of filling in time
and pleasure and stuff like that. Yeah, we can speak into that.
Yeah, and all of that stuff. And I said it to you the other week, that because you're such a particular and specific man, that what you're really looking for is someone who's going to capture your attention.
Yeah.
Someone who really speaks your language, and you're not looking for another version of you, but if they're not, because you like the move.
Yeah,
you like the move. If they're not able to do that, then you already know you're wasting your time. You know, so a lot of the time, and I'm sure you could probably agree that in the past you've not been that disciplined in that area. So to pull so much discipline across all areas, that's really a reflection of how all in you are, not just for what we do, but just your own self-leadership.
Yeah, and that's it. I'm just like, I'm going all in. That's what I always do. I'm like, shit, if I go all in, you're going to get whatever's, like, you're going to get that back. And especially, like, even like you're speaking to that as well around relationships and finding the right person. That's why this year I've chosen to, my goal at the start of the year was be very cautious of who I let into my circle. And really be cautious of who I let into my circle and who I let around me, because like before that, like I wasn't, and now I am conscious. I'm very cautious of who I let into my circle, and I've been just cutting out everything. And not until you do that are you're just clear. I'm clear now on my intentions, who I want around me. My circle's good, and this year's been a bit of a change for me. I definitely shifted a lot of people away from me. I did some pretty outlandish a few things that might have pissed a few people off at the start of the year, you might remember.
Yeah, and it's it's leading towards the topic that we're going to be talking about, and that's challenging the unspoken rules. And I'm sure you've had a lot of people questioning, asking questions, thinking that you're crazy.
Yeah.
Bro, you can't. Why are you stopping drinking?
Yeah.
Bro, you can't do it. Coffee, I can't go without a coffee. And even in regards to women.
Yep.
You know, especially when it comes to men, talking about women, it's very normal for it to be, it's accepted that you can talk to multiple women, especially if you're single.
Yeah.
Sleep with as many women as you want, and that you're saying no to everything.
Yep.
You're saying no to everything, not because you hate women. I'm sure you love women.
I do, definitely.
Yeah, good. That's good. But it's about integrity. It's about quality. It's about character. Yeah. And for generally, I'd say the average man, that would seem nuts.
Yeah, it seems a bit crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and I'm sure there's a lot of good-looking women that have probably sent messages to you.
Yeah, definitely I have.
Yeah.
But I'm cautious of who I let around me. As we're back, like, a few years ago, I wouldn't have cared. Like, I'd be like, give them an attention, like, reply, and it was just like, I guess engaging in a lot of pointless conversations, or like going and meeting up, having coffees and shit like that, and interactions. And it wasn't, I was like, nah, that's not for me. Hey, I'm like, if you want someone, like, you're going to have, like, I know who I want now. And I'm like, I'll find that person. But it's when you have everything
you can't find it when you've got the buffet, when you're always at the buffet.
If you're at the candy shop and all the lids open, bro, you're going to be confused.
Yeah.
So I'm liking where I'm at too. Yeah. A lot of guys would look at me and think, and I'll be honest, like a lot of guys are like, oh, who you seeing?
Yes,
I'm like,
that's a normal conversation.
Yeah, I'm like, who you seeing? I'm like, no one.
Yeah.
They're like, hey. And I've had girls say to me, oh, I bet you get heaps of attention. I'm like, actually, you know what, I don't.
No, they stop messaging.
Oh, no, like they message me, but like, no, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's obviously, they're like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, and that's usually where the conversation stops then, because they're obviously thinking this guy's talking shit. Yeah. But I don't care. That's not the right person.
But right now, if you looked into all areas of your life, it's the common theme everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Why no coffee?
The coffee, I realized it was fake energy.
Yeah.
It was fake energy, and I was like, I knew it for so long, and I'd heard it, and I was just like, come on, but I love coffee.
Yeah.
I will go drink coffee.
Yeah.
But I was it was just something that was it was not real. It was like been playing with my energies a lot.
Yeah.
And it wasn't real energy for me. And I'm like, and I realized that every time I was eating bad, or I didn't realize how shitty my food was, and I was using that as a pick-me-up here and there. And then I cut it out, and you know what? My body feels good. My brain feels good. I'm actually not more productive when I drink more coffee, as though I thought I was.
And you kind of think that you're really hustling because you're up all night.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you have a shit sleep.
You ain't doing more, trust me. Your brain's just going faster.
Yeah.
That's what happened, and so I had to change it.
And why the no alcohol?
The alcohol was a challenge for myself. It was a thing that, look, a couple of things actually. So, start of the year, I was like, look, man, I'm 29 this year. If I can quit alcohol for a whole year in my 20s, man, I did it. That's an achievement for me, because the start of my 20s was, drug addiction and partying, and it wasn't, I was flipped a coin. I was on the opposite side. Like, it was all out for me. How you do anything is how you do everything. I'm all in on things now.
Yeah.
I'm the same when I was partying. Like, I was all in on it. And I looked at it and I was like, look, and I really studied a lot of people that are successful in life, and what do they all have in common? They don't drink. They don't do drugs. They don't do alcohol. And I was like, okay, obviously there's something there. These people aren't just saying it for no reason. I'm like, there's one thing I can do quite easily. That's a change I can make today. That's going to benefit me long term. And obviously I got some goals in life, and I've got 3 big ones. I won't break them down, but my number one goal in life is to live longer. Because no use having all these goals and expectations and things you want to achieve when you live on this earth and this life, and the only thing you're given here is time.
That's right.
And if you can live longer, the more you can achieve. So for me, my number one goal in life is to live longer. And if I quit alcohol from now until the rest of my days, and that adds an extra 5, 10, 15 years to my life, man, that's 10 more years. I get to achieve 10 more years worth of goals.
Man, I literally had never thought about it like that. I just, I told myself that I would live until my daughter turns 100. That was, which means I'll be 122.
Yeah.
I never told myself that, but that's a great way to have it, to look at it.
Yeah, I did, and I've set many goals before, and I looked at them all, and I was like, okay, there's something missing. I was like, these are all good, but I'm like, what if I die in 10 years?
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't even get to, I'm like, because I set 10-year goals, 20-year, like long-term goals, I'm like, okay, I don't think the goals should be set 10-year, 20-year goals. I think it should be to be healthy and be, like, live past those goals, those times. And a lot of people, so I'm like, that, like, live longer, that goes down into so many depths of my life, which is, alcohol, my health, who I hang around with, my environment, the whole lot. So there's a whole, that breaks down. That is just a big sum, but that is broken down into many different sections of my life, and I'm starting to really shuffle things around and make sure I play those cards right. So, living longer for me is important.
As we're talking, I'm thinking about so many things have changed. Like, you even sold your car.
Yeah, sold my car.
Yeah. So you're really changing what it means to live your life.
100%.
Live your life. Like, why did you buy that car besides needing it as a work ute? Because it was a big car.
Yeah.
You're one person.
Yeah, I know. I was just like, I don't know. It was just one of those things, like, I guess I phased out of my old business and my old job and stuff, and I got into construction. I was like, that's the car. I want that car.
Yeah.
But it served no purpose for me, and, definitely took my ego had to have a hit, because I got in this little car, and I was like, I don't like this car.
Yeah.
This is shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, but it's a car, bro. You got a car.
Yeah.
And I was like, hold on a minute. And it actually really humbled me. I went down to South Australia just recently, and I seen my brother, and he was sitting there, and he gave me his car, and his is this little Suzuki. It's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Awesome car though, piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I was driving around. I was like, my car's way better than I said, you want to be grateful. His has got fucking dog hair through it everywhere, sand and mud in it, and I was like, okay, yeah.
How was that trip back down to South Australia?
For me, it was really good, bro. Like, you're actually interviewing me too.
Yeah, well,
we can.
Yeah. We're sort of, because you've had, that was like one, for you to be able to step away, that sort of shows, you know, how far we'd come.
Yeah.
Also, for you to step away, you weren't just going, like, when I go to my parents' house, I go to Brisbane.
Yeah.
I'm not going free diving. There ain't no crayfish at my parents' house.
Nah.
There ain't no powers at my parents' house.
So I'll tell you a little bit about that, even why. I don't think I really explained it to you as well, why I went there.
You told me that, and this is like the level of our friendship. You said, bro, I'm feeling a bit off. I need to go. I'm going to go see my family.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, go, bro.
See you later, man. Yeah, there's a few things I was like, look, man, I've always never put a limit on myself for what I can and can't do. I've never had any reins on me. Like, I was growing up like that. I'm like, my father just let me fucking do what I wanted.
Yeah.
My mother as well. And I was like, I'd had this excuse. I'm like, oh, no, I can't really afford it. And, you know, things like that. And I was like, you know what? I'm a resilient person. Whether I can afford it or not, I fucking come back here. I don't care if I got $2 in my... I don't care if I got fucking nothing, man. I'll make something happen. And I was like, don't limit yourself. Like, you can go back there and spend all the money you had, and come back here with zero. You'll still make it happen.
Yep.
You'll still make it happen. And I was like, stop giving yourself that excuses. And I just thought back. I was sitting. There was a time in my life when I lived like that, and I was so free and just, man, things were working out for me. Like business, everything was. I was just like, I didn't put no limits on myself. I met so many people. I was out getting about doing my thing. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna go. I was like, life has always worked out for me, no matter what.
I think that's an important for us to also to always exercise, to also share that this is the way that we choose to live life.
Yeah,
because this is the same thing that we preach to our people.
Definitely.
Our community is about living your best life, and if we're not doing it ourselves, even despite all what's going on in COVID.
Yeah.
Like, you know, are we really embodying what we say?
Yeah, you got to. That's what I'm like. I'm like, oh, I live my life.
And you know what? Like this year has been like massive challenge. Yes, challenge the unspoken rules, but really changing the story. Because you publicly also announced that you were leaving construction as well. You know, like, I'm still married. I'm still with my wife, love my wife, and I'm not talking about how my life is still very much the same, even though things that have changed here. But, like, your life has changed.
Yeah, it's
changed.
so much.
You know, you've given up alcohol. You've recently given up coffee. You're not allowing yourself to just go freely give your intimacy away.
Yeah.
You know, you're not just giving that up to anyone. And you've changed your car. You've changed your job. Bro.
Yeah.
Like, what else do you have up your sleeve? What else do you plan on changing? Why so much change? Look at me, I'm yelling at the mic.
Yell at me, bro.
Yeah.
I'm just here. Why so much change? It was needed. I looked at my life and I was like, look, it's time to change. It's time for an overhaul. Like, here we are. I'm never afraid to change things. That's one thing I've been like, I'm like, look, and I was looking at me, I was like, look, I'm 29. I'm like, I got miles of time. I was like, I can do a whole new thing. I was like, I've only ever been in the construction industry, kind of had a couple of other careers here and there, but look, I wanted it. It just felt right. I followed my intuition. I've been getting clearer and clearer. I'm like, okay, it's just something in me that's just pushing me from behind, just guiding me. I don't know what it is.
Because when we met, I think he had like 5 photos on his Instagram.
Yeah.
That the Instagram that he never used.
Yeah, I never used it.
Didn't talk on social media. There's a podcast here.
Yeah, I got a podcast. Hey, imagine that.
So, you know, if that's what you were like when I met you, no doubt everyone that knew you knew that's what you were like as well. Now, 2020 comes around, men's medicine comes around, flip everything.
Flip it on its head, hey.
Flip everything. The challenge the unspoken rules kind of, it seems to be what the theme has been.
It has been. It's the thing I did at the start of the year as well. I was like, I'm going to play the opposite game. Similar to challenge unspoken rules, where I played the opposite game at the start of the year. I'm just going to do the opposite.
And I guess, what are some typical rules? Unspoken rules. What are some typical unspoken rules? Let's get into that.
Yeah.
So, like, you traditionally you become a tradie.
Yeah.
Then after you were a chippy.
Yep.
Become a chippy. Then you got your builder's license, got the ute, got the business, got the trailer, got all of that stuff. Now, what are you supposed to do after that? Majority of the people I'm sure that you know that are tradies, they haven't left.
No, they're still there.
No, they're still doing the same thing. So what's the next step up? Where do you keep on moving in that direction, don't you?
Yeah, you stay in the field. Usually, a lot of guys go into like bigger commercial stuff. You can go mining. There's quite a few different sections and stuff that you go on high rises and big, really big complex jobs. Or some guys generally start up and then they get good and then they just like taper into one specific field where they start working in that one area. But yeah, there's a lot of areas there, and it's like, I don't know. I guess guys would always say once a tradie, always a tradie.
Yeah. I remember a friend of mine who was talking about how he needed to get out of form work.
Yeah.
And I said, bro, you can. I'm of the same perspective. You can do it. You can do anything you want.
Yeah.
You can change at the drop of a dime. You can make a change. If you want to make a change, you will make a change. As a man, if you want to do something, you'll find a way to do it. You always will. But he says, it's too late. I'm too old. You're never too old.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
But I don't think I know of anyone who went from builder to podcasts, went online, unless they were doing probably something like crypto, or something down that way. But yeah,
like changes.
You diverted hard.
Yeah, you just gotta like I said, like you just throw yourself in the deep end. Like change is okay. Change is okay for me, and I've always been open to change as well. And yeah, you got to do it. But I want to transition into, I guess, even another like unspoken rules. And with the unspoken rules we're talking about are in many sections and scenarios. But like in our field of work, which is mental health, there are unspoken rules there. And I used to call them cloud rules. Like who made these rules up?
Yep.
Like all these little things that you had to make up. So like we start talking about, like we come to many people and men in our communities, and like the common one, men can't cry. Men
can't cry.
Okay.
Yeah, and when we talk about these unspoken rules, I think, okay, where do I sit in this? Where's my experience with all of this? And I think about it, and I think this is why I am the person that I am, because my dad never told me any of these things.
Yeah.
No one in my family ever said any of these things. So I just grow up talking. I just grow up doing things.
Bro, I'm telling you talk.
Yeah.
You talk and you ask questions.
Yeah. And I ask lots of questions. And I guess for typical people, they're just like, why is he asking so much questions?
Right. I will say, man, when I first met you, like, no shit. I was like, there was a few times where you pissed me off. I was like, shut the fuck up. I was like, is this guy writing an essay on me or something? I was like, it's all good, man. I'm like, and I started giving you like one answer replies, and then you were like, oh yeah, and I was like,
like my dad never, probably if anything, there was just the expectation of that you have a good work ethic and you do things for the family. That's about it. But never stop crying, never shut up, never man up. Never any of those typical things. Never men don't express their emotions. I don't know. Maybe is it because my dad's Tongan or anything like that. Never anything like that. That never happened. So I guess that part for me, that's why I'm not that way.
Yeah.
But for most of society, what we're talking about right here, that's their reality.
So I got a question. Men don't cry.
Yeah.
Who made that up? Where do you think that come from?
Oh, man, I think it's definitely associated with that. That is an emotion, and emotions are associated with women.
What else? Some other unspoken... Oh, like another one I got to, man. You got to be staunch and stand up.
Yeah.
Who made that?
Oh, man, all of this stuff like really dates way back to the beginning of society, I think. And it's, fighting through civilization, my tribe versus your tribe, taking over, countries, war, soldiers, these sorts of things. Protect the family, protect their country, protect the land, and that image of, I guess, if you can't fight, well, then you're obviously not strong. And if you can't fight, then what good are you for?
Yeah.
And also, I guess, crying is associated with weakness.
Yeah.
So, as a man, I guess, typically is supposed to be strong. So it's hard to see you strong when you're crying.
Yeah. Did you get that when you were going through school? Did you get that textbook on how to be a man?
Man, who tells?
I didn't. No, there is none.
But in saying that, no one teaches you how to be a man. As far as I know, I haven't met anyone who actually, very rarely have I ever come across a man who has a great relationship with their father, or their father taught them lots of things. I think for most part of it, it's all assumption. That the father assumes they've taught the kid, or that the kid is learning from them, but they didn't actually teach them.
Yeah, it's not like a teach. Like there's like showing things and there's teaching things. Like kids will mimic what you do.
Yeah, like
kids
come over here, son. Let me show you how to do this.
Yeah.
That never happened. One thing that I really used to love, like my dad used to show us how to work.
Yeah.
That was about it.
Did he show you or he made you work?
No, he made us work. Yeah, he showed us how to work so he could make us work. But I used to love him teaching me how to drive.
Okay. Yeah.
It's, that's like, and I wasn't that good at it at the start. But
what's changed?
there is no handbook. There is no handbook that doesn't exist.
And back on that as well, like there's no father handbook as well. There probably is one written out there, but I'm like, there's so many. I
think what happens is it's generally you do whatever the thing we're talking about. You're being a man, you're being a father, and you don't hear feedback until you've done the wrong thing.
Yeah, and you get hiding.
Yeah.
Oh,
because everyone's got their 2 cents to put in about how much of a shit job you did, or how badly you screwed up, or how you did that wrong. That's when they're going to tell you.
Yeah.
And I think very rarely are people talking about how when someone's done a good job. But because these are unspoken rules that we're talking about, there's nothing official.
Yeah.
There's nothing official. You just see whatever you saw, and then you comment. Generally, society has a really good way of telling you when you've done a bad job, and then that's when you hear from people.
That's when you hear. You hear when you fuck it up.
Yeah.
And everyone's just like...
Yeah, that's when you hear the comment, and I guess that's why there are unspoken rules. Because the only time you ever hear about these things is when people are saying negative things about it.
Yeah.
And especially, and because we don't hear about the positive side of it, like let's say, for instance, crying.
Yep.
What are you crying for? Stop crying.
Yeah.
Yeah. As opposed to recognizing it as, man, that must be real. Like, it's extremely hard for most men to share emotion and cry. It must be something really big to make them feel that way.
Yeah, must be something up.
Yeah, something must be up.
Not shut up.
Yeah.
Must be something.
Yeah. So instead of acknowledging it, just go, man, that's obviously was like big enough to move you, hey. So just want to say, man, that's really moved me, man. So what's going on, bro? Like, what can I do? How can I help? Like what do you need? You know, reaching out. Like, it's very clear to you something is going on.
And you know, this is the thing where I feel like a lot of guys go wrong, because in that situation, it's easier to just say, hey, oh man, like cut it out. Because it makes the guy that doesn't know what's going on, or it makes him feel uncomfortable. So his first reaction is like, stop it.
Yeah.
Like, stamp it out.
One thing, something coming up right now is, when a man is lost for words, and you would know, like, when you're finding it hard to express.
Yep.
Communicate, especially when you're emotional and you're stuttering, or maybe not even stuttering. The words are like you're having a bit of a brain freeze.
Yeah.
You know what you want to, you know what's pissing you off. You can't communicate it, and maybe you're in an argument, and then because you're not that great at using your words. And a lot of men, that's very normal. You get criticized for it.
Yep.
Man, you're useless. You couldn't communicate what you want to say to save your life.
Big one, yeah.
Yeah, like you should just give up.
Oh yeah, that's like,
That one there.
yeah.
That one there. That's like a knife to the heart and a kick in the balls.
You can't do that.
Yeah, I hate that one.
I'm like, fuck.
I hate that one. You just go, man, you suck.
Yeah, that was the thing. Like, even me, I'm just thinking now, I'm like, that was something I got told so many times. Oh, you can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, because I was even, like, just going back to that conversation, like, I couldn't read or write or spell. I'm getting better.
Yeah.
But, like, oh, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. I'm like,
Yeah. And if you can't do something, then you can, even reflection about all the change you made, that if you can't do something, then you'll never be able to do it. You know?
yeah.
Who says?
Who's listening to them?
Who says?
Here's where, like,
I'm getting riled up now because that's where really men's medicine sort of was birthed from. Was, man, you can do whatever you want.
Hell yeah,
man! Like
you can just be the man. Like every man has something that they can help another man with.
Yeah,
you have to be someone special.
Man, you can almost think that it's almost like it's Reno for mental health.
Yeah,
like let's go in, let's break it on down, okay, and then we can rebuild it.
Definitely.
Yeah, like it's not the way we sort of look at it. Is that we normalize the mental health side of things because it's a part of life.
Definitely. And just for the people listening out there as well, like why we're speaking into this and why we've chosen the unspoken rules is because it's, obviously working in this space, it's something that comes up a lot, like where we're obviously conversating with people all the time and questions, and people are like, oh, what's going on, what's coming up, and like we're like, okay, well, who'd you hit? Like, who made that up?
Yeah.
Like, who told you that? Now
our perspective is everything is welcome.
Yeah, everything
is welcome. So whatever it is we're hearing, our perspective always is, man, you can do whatever you want. Like,
come as you are.
Yeah.
Come as you are,
That's
brother.
it, man. Like, whatever you want to do is possible. It's necessary. You're worth it. You deserve it. And beyond that, do the damn thing.
Yeah.
Do the damn thing. That's what we care. That's what we care about. So why we do what we do is so that we can overcome whatever needs to be done, so that you can do whatever it is you actually really want to do. And the things that we come across, generally across the board, is the unspoken rules.
Definitely.
A whole bunch of things that come from absolutely nowhere that people are being held back by, and the truth is, where we go back, we went back to before, is who made that up?
Yeah.
Who set that rule? Who told you couldn't do it? Oh, society says. Oh, my dad did. My mum did. My brother did. Well, who told them? Where does it say in whatever rule book that doesn't exist that that's true?
Yeah. Are you, like, out there, are you being held down or held back by the unspoken rules?
Yeah.
And that's something we
men
tend to do.
Men can't cry. Men can't share their expressions, their emotions. Oh, geez, even for the women, they've got a whole bunch of things. They've got their own set of rules. Geez, a lot of and theirs are more imaginary.
Oh, man, the women's rules are far.
Yeah,
like they hold a lot.
Yeah, and
the
it's
brain's ticking 100 miles an hour.
And where does this come from? All the things. Where does that come from? Society. He said. She said. They said. Society said. Who's this society? Where?
Which one?
Yeah, where the society?
The millennials?
Like, man.
Or the baby boomers?
Yeah.
It's a joke.
And I guess, and if you ask, we're standing back, we going, yeah, that ain't real, eh?
That's like me. Like, people ask, I'm like, I don't play in those rules. Where are they? Who made those up? Who told you that?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's some crazy shit. A person, like, that was probably afraid to cry told you that,
Yep.
or wasn't
Yeah.
open to it. He told you that,
and we
because
know
he
where
couldn't do it.
we do know where it all comes from. It does come from from upbringings, from social conditioning, but what we're actually talking about is we're talking about the people that passed that on to you. Where did they get it from? If we go, and if you're really looking to solve a problem, you're looking to go down to the root cause. Where did it actually come from? And what you'll find is it came from nowhere.
Yeah, and why are you letting it hold you back?
Yeah, because it came from your parents, and your parents, it came from their parents, and maybe it came from the guy down the street. But like, it's not law. None of this stuff is law. I'm like this. If men aren't supposed to cry, then why do I got tear ducts?
Yeah. It's just normal.
Why do I got tear ducts if I'm not supposed to cry?
Oh man, like you gotta use that shit.
You know, like it just.
You ain't gonna get arrested or put in jail.
Well, why do I experience emotions if I'm not supposed to do anything with them?
Yeah, no, you hold them in,
Yeah.
because these unspoken rules, you're not allowed to come
And
out.
this is the other thing. No one enjoys being around a robot.
No.
And we all know people we've all got people in our lives that are socially awkward and socially awkward, and it makes it really tough to share time with them. And a lot of people avoid socializing with them. So we've all got someone who's asked us, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Do you want to hang out? Do you want to go out? and it's like you wouldn't reply to them. You wouldn't really hang out. Then we've got all those other friends. You can't wait to ask them, what are they doing this weekend? Their emotions, their feelings. But the unspoken rules, I guess, really are referring to the emotions and the parts of the human life that we don't want to acknowledge.
What are some other ones? Because I'm just sitting here thinking, I'm like, look, there's a bunch of unspoken rules, and it's holding people back. I'm like, don't play in those. And if there is unspoken rules, leave it in the comments as well. I'm interested to know if you're on YouTube, or send it in.
There's a whole bunch of things that we don't talk about.
Yeah.
There's a whole, we don't talk about depression.
No.
Why don't we talk about depression?
I don't know.
Suicide? Why don't we talk about suicide?
We've talked about it.
Yeah.
But
why does society not talk about it?
I guess it's frowned upon. Or I guess it's awkward for people. It would be, like, for me, talking, like, if I'm looking back 2-3 years ago, it's super awkward. So it's hard to have that one.
Trauma?
Yeah.
Sexual abuse?
Yeah.
Why? And I was watching this. I read a post about this yesterday, and it was talking about. And you know what? This one's public, so you can read this one. But it was from one of our brothers who went on the walk on the weekend in New Zealand and his sisters had gone on as well, and he was talking about sexual trauma, especially in the Samoan culture, community, and that when it is done, that it is frowned upon to talk about the offender. That it is wrong to talk about the offender because you bring shame upon the family name. And that's kind of, you know what, now that I've said that, that's where all this comes from, huh?
Yeah.
A lot of this. Don't make our family look bad.
I was just thinking that too. I'm like, shit, yeah.
Because if you talk about, like let's say you talk about, your dyslexia, right? Talking about it without giving it a label. My kid can't, read and write, that well. If you talk about it, well, they look at the parents in a certain way.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
My dad can't read.
Yeah. But that's sort of what happens. Someone's experiencing depression. Comes from never had his parents around. A lot of this is attached to family.
Yeah, like don't embarrass our family. You don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. Don't be that girl. Don't be that person that's like, okay, letting us down.
We're not saying that's the root cause for all of this, But I would say a lot of it has to do with the guilt and shame that it brings on families.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, true. Or being outcast from certain friend groups
Yep.
and circles.
Yep.
Oh, weirdo. See ya.
Yeah.
That's a big one. Guys like, okay, I can't be like that, or I don't want to bring this on people, or like, you know, they're feeling depressed or they're down. Okay, nah. Put on the face. I can't be that guy today because...
Oh, your friend tried to take their life. Man, I don't know if I really want to hang around you guys, eh?
Yeah. It's like, fuck.
As those words roll off my tongue, I'm like, that's cray.
That is crazy.
It's kind of like when you grow up and you go into school and it's like your parents don't want you to hang around the wrong kids.
Yeah.
The wrong kids.
What's something, like, just like on that as well, like, one of the biggest things of men, what do you feel like they struggle with? I know.
I think relationships.
It starts with a C.
Commitment?
Oh, okay, we'll get to that one too. But we're doing it now.
Communication.
Yeah, communication.
Communication.
And that's like just on my observation of
Yeah.
like this whole scene and scenario. It's a communication, and men struggle to communicate just generically in a lot of different ways, I feel. And then that just transpires everywhere.
Yeah.
Like they struggle to have the hard conversations. They don't know how to handle a situation, especially when it comes up.
Let's think about like a deep conversation, right? So if what we're saying is that deep conversation is avoided,
Yeah.
then what we're really saying is that surface conversation is really what generally men are talking about.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you really, really know me, you know I like to live below.
That line.
I love the deep conversation, and that I can have the small talk conversation, but it kind of goes nowhere.
I don't like small talking. I just like skip and jump and we'll go down here.
Yeah, and I think the tendency to talk about things. Tendency to talk about things and people and places, and as opposed to talking about real world issues, real life issues, and things that are happening in your real life.
Yeah, if we're talking above the line and below the line, I guess in that sense.
Yeah,
below the line.
Yeah, because I guess if we're having those surface level conversations, that's going to keep us above the line.
Yeah,
because you ask me anything deeper, you're going to trigger me.
Men don't go below the line generally, or they. If something
and
does
that is a
question,
common that's a typical thing that people say. Yeah, we don't talk about those things.
Yeah, or as soon as that is below the line, the conversation goes behind the line. What usually comes up? Conversation goes below the line.
Oh, a fight.
Yeah, fight.
The anger.
Just a couple other things.
Rattle them off.
Humor.
The masks come out.
It's the humor
the mask
that comes up.
The masks come out.
Especially
to protect
in Aussie and Kiwi man, it's
to help brush it off.
Soon as it's like surface level conversation, soon as it pumps down into like, okay, we're going to talk about some deeper stuff.
Yeah,
bang,
and throw a few jokes in there.
Humor.
Yeah, to help smooth it over. And I guess, man, just even saying that changes my physiology, because I'm just like, there's a problem. The elephant's in the room.
Yeah,
the elephant's still here. Like, we haven't solved anything yet.
No.
But it's so culturally accepted to smooth it over, and it's almost like pretending the job has been done.
Yep.
But it hasn't. It's like someone's half built a house.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, no, my missus left me. And then the guys joke about it.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm like, what?
But this is a real serious thing. So that's how my mind, works. And I guess the boys get to come in, and what do they usually want to do? What do they want to usually do when a guy's relationship has broken down?
Party. Get on it. Distract him.
Yeah.
Distract. Take him out and give him the exact opposite to what he probably needs.
Yeah. Distract him. Party. Oh, man, you're free.
Let's go.
You're free.
We got our guy back. We can't commit to a girlfriend. Now
and neither
we
should
got
you.
Another one.
And neither should you.
He's back.
Oh, man.
I lack commitment. Now you do too.
And it's like, man, there's so many men out there that have children. And it's sort of like, what are we encouraging here? Are we encouraging a world of separated families? It's like, you know what, you're a really good father. You're a really good father, and you didn't need her. She was crazy. She was Dragon Lady, right? You know what? She was a bit much. I didn't want to say anything, but yeah, you know what? You're better off without her.
That's something I heard. Like, just
Now let's just like take for a moment. Let's say this man really loved her,
yeah.
and your friends are now saying that. Are you going to feel free to speak up about it?
No.
No way.
So many times I see just on that, like, you know, relationships, friendship groups, whatever. They're in a relationship and like they split up, and then like the guy and the friend they're all together. Oh, you know, leave her. She's a bitch or whatever. And I'm like, you were at the house every week. She was cooking you dinners and barbecues and shit. Every time you come into the house, she was like, "How you doing?"
Yeah.
Left you, hung out with your family and your family, and then like, and then the next Wednesday, she's that person.
Because of that social conditioning, that's what become acceptable. That's the default behavior.
Yeah.
That's sort of like, it's normal. That's not unexpected for that sort of to happen. But if we choose to look deeper and actually be really honest about it and really look at it, we're like, hold on a second. She like let us all come over all the time.
Yeah.
She didn't have to. She made us food all the time. She threw the best kids parties.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, there's sometimes when either side definitely does one thing wrong, and there's some ownership on things.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
It's like straight away, as soon as like the split, it's like, okay, we'll just throw that other person in the bin.
Yeah.
I'm not like that. I'm like, I ain't choosing sides. I don't choose sides.
And I guess like this isn't, in the past, this stuff that we're talking about was very, very normal, very, very accepted. But we live in the 21st century. This is modern day world. And what we realize is that separation of families really impacts kids being brought up. You know, and I think there was a post that it's scheduled to come out soon. And it was about fathers. Yeah, love you, son. Love you, son. That comment. How often does a son hear that from their father?
Yeah.
And on fathers.com, what it said was, when they've asked fathers, how many of you frequently heard from your father, I love you, son, and 3 to 4% put their hands up. 3 to 4%, and I've shared with this before. I think maybe 5 years ago is when I heard from my father.
Yeah, we've spoken about this.
Him telling me that he loved me. Look, even that's an unspoken rule. You don't have to show affection to your kids. Like you're gonna make them soft. You know, you got to bring them up to be men. Who said that? Who said that?
I don't know.
No, look, we all know that all kids need love.
They do.
They all need love. And no one's a mind reader, unless you're actually a mind reader. But, do you know what I mean? Like these kids, they're learning how to be adults, learning how to be grown human beings from their parents. And whatever you teach them or don't teach them, they learn more from what they see than what they're told. Whatever you model for them, that's what they pick up. That's what they learn. And this is where the unspoken rules come from. All of these sorts of things.
Those are passed on to you. And that's why I like this topic as well, because I'm quite cautious of I guess, the unspoken rules and what I pass on to people that I come in touch with. And, you know, and that's why this is our theme for a while, where we're going to really be pushing these unspoken rules. And this isn't the last conversation we're going to have about this. We're going to keep pushing this and talking about it and really get some clarity around it and speak it. And
I guess what we're really saying is that the buck stops here.
Yep.
The buck stops here. Like if we're really serious about growth and change, we need to be willing to draw a line in the sand. And it's sort of like, okay, you know what? There's a whole bunch of stuff that's coming from nowhere. And when we say nowhere, yeah, it came from your parents and your parents' parents and your parents' parents. But like it's nothing officially written anywhere. It was passed down. But like this isn't like a scientific thing. Like that's not science. Men don't cry isn't science.
no. It's not. No, it's not a law.
It's scientifically impossible that a man can't cry unless your tear ducts were taken out.
I don't know anyone that's got that.
Jeez, do you reckon that someone's that serious about men don't cry, that they got their tear ducts taken out?
Some mad dog out
Just
there.
go, you know what? This is how much I don't cry. Men don't cry. Tear ducts gone.
Would be someone, surely. It'd have to be someone. It's 2020.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I want to wrap it up because we're getting close to an hour. And I do want to continue this conversation because this is a conversation of many to come with this topic. And as we hear back from people and we explore this conversation a lot more, we're gonna dive into a little bit deeper. And that's why we got in today. We sat down and we started the conversation. We're like, look, we'll see where this goes and then we'll progress it from here. But I want to ask you some questions. Let's say, what's some words of wisdom from Lino Hola today? Some advice.
Something that I've been saying recently is stretch yourself. Stretch yourself. Be willing to stretch yourself to grow. A lot of the time when you're experiencing things that are tough, that are difficult, a lot of the time the human body was designed to survive. It was designed to help you survive, not to help you thrive. So a lot of the time when you feel discomfort and an uncomfortable feeling like things that aren't really, for you, your initial reaction is to want to leave, to stop, to abort. Well, my invitation to you is to stretch yourself to grow. And if you really feel, but also set up boundaries. So if you really feel like something isn't for you, stretch yourself, but have boundaries to know where your limit is. It's like, you know what, this actually, I've been doing this long enough to realize this doesn't serve me. I've learnt my lessons, but this is where I draw the line. I'm out. This isn't for me. It's time for me to leave. But the words of wisdom are to stretch yourself. You're much stronger than what you believe. You're a lot more powerful than what you realize. But we are definitely all about growth. And that you have the ability to stretch yourself. And when you stretch yourself, you build a bigger capacity for you to physically take on more. So stretch yourself and don't forget to also set up boundaries. There's a point where things don't serve you. You need to know where that is.
Your turn. You can ask me anything.
What does life mean to you right now? What does life mean to you right now?
Ooh.
I feel like it's changed a lot for you.
Like, life right now, it's not about what's behind me and what's in front of me. It's about what's now, the present moment, the time right now. As where I've always lived in the past or in the future, but I've never really honestly been super present in this moment. And I've caught myself, my thing on when I went away on my holiday was to be present. And I've catch myself so many times, I'm like, I'm having a human experience right now.
Yeah.
And I always see, I'm like, and this big smile comes in my face. I'm like, I'm living, baby. This is living, Barry.
Because you're a massive habits guy. Love habits, and I guess the tendency of that is that you've scheduled out your time. You booked it out, so you can have a tendency to live in the future. Yeah,
I book things. I like, time's my thing. Time is one of my biggest values, and time is for me, it's such a valuable thing. So I don't like to waste it or play with it in the wrong way. So,
but the purpose of doing that, scheduling and setting habits and routines and systemizing your life, the purpose of that isn't so that you live in the future, is it?
Nah.
It's so that you can live more in
the present, like what's now. So that's why.
So there's a gold nugget there. Yeah. If you really want to be more present, prepare your life so that you can be here now.
Yeah, because I'm like, okay, I know what's happening now, and in another 40 minutes, I know where I'm going to be. So I'm like,
yeah. But if you don't,
your mind's in other places. Your mind's in other places, especially before bed and stuff like that. That's why I like planning the day before, tomorrow, the night before. So then it's like, I know where I'm going. And I'm like, I'm enjoying my sleep so much.
So gold nuggets there. Massive gold nuggets there.
And before we pack it up, actually, so we've got some new stuff coming up. We won't tell you exact dates and everything, but we are coming to first off the ranks. So we had a couples workshop coming up at the end of the year.
Yep, yesterday was awesome.
Yeah, we had a couples workshop yesterday. Powerful Powerful day. But we've got some stuff coming up. We're going to see you guys in Melbourne. We're also going to see you guys in Sydney coming up as well. But dates are going to be released soon, and we'll keep you guys posted. So check it out on our Facebook and our Instagram as well. In the next maybe 3 to 4 days, we'll have something up about that.
It'll be this week.
Yeah.
It'll be this week. We feel that restrictions are starting to lift, and divine timing. If everything works, for us, we'll be coming to see you.
Bang. And that's our podcast for today, fams. If you could leave us a review, rate us, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Spotify as well. Leave a review there. Man, that's it, baby. Little Hola. Thank you, brother, for another one. Peace, and we'll see you on the next one, baby.
Much love.